Hello again. Today I'm going to make creme anglaise. It's a fairly indulgent sauce, and really it got sidelined when Alfred Bird invented eggless custard powder because his wife was allergic to eggs. It's worth knowing how to do it because it's absolutely delicious. Now in my mixing bowl I've got 50 grams of light muscovado sugar, and the reason you use that is because it just gives the sauce a little bit of colour, and I've given it a bit of a squash to get rid of all the lumps. To that we need to add 5 egg yolks. Now it sounds indulgent, you'll have whites left over to make meringue with tomorrow. So the easiest way to separate your eggs is to crack your egg onto a plate. Take an egg cup, cover the yolk with the egg cup, give it a bit of a press, and then tip the white into another bowl. Now have a look. Have you got most of the white? If not, you can move it around, give it another wiggle and try and get rid of a bit more. There's a bit there that doesn't want to come off. No, okay, so there's my egg yolk, that's number 1, in it goes. And you do that 4 more times. And that's the last one. Now I'm just going to get rid of all this and wash my hands, because dealing with raw eggs you need to be very, very careful, so bear with me for a minute. Now the next thing you're going to need is a saucepan that is not a non-stick saucepan, because you're going to do a lot of whisking in here. So use a saucepan that isn't non-stick, and into that you're going to pour 200 ml of double cream. As I said, it's quite indulgent. And then you're also going to pour in 200 ml of full fat milk. And if you put the milk in after the cream, it serves to kind of rinse out the jug a little bit. And I've got a spoon ready in case I need to give it a bit of a scrape round. So that goes in. Just get out as much as you can. And then to that, we add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And that gives it a lovely flavour. So in it goes. And then we go over to the cooker with this, and I'm going to take the bowl with me as well, because I've got my egg yolks and the sugar. They need to be mixed together, and I can do that properly while the milk is warming. So we're going to go over there, warm the milk, and then pour it into this bowl. So I've got it on quite a big gas ring, but I'm going to turn the flame down. And I want it to be just a little bit warmer than tepid, so I can keep an eye on that, and at the same time I can be mixing together my yolks and sugar. It looks a bit unpromising at the moment, but that's okay. If you've got any lumps in your sugar, this is the time to get rid of them. And that's a wire whisk. If you've got one of those long ones with the wires that go from the handle down to the base and back again, that's a balloon whisk. This one's a wire whisk. And I like these. Don't mind the others, but this is what I've got. So that's my sugar and eggs mixed. And now I'm waiting until I start to see bubbles around the outside of the saucepan, and then I'm simply going to dip my finger in, and if I can't really feel it, that means it's tepid, and that's okay. A little bit warmer than tepid, so it wants to feel a bit warm to your little finger. No, I can't feel that, that's not warm enough, so I need to be a little bit more than that. Starting to get bubbles around the outside. Yep, that's it. Okay, now, wipe my finger. Now this gets whisked into our eggs and sugar. You can hear that the pan is hot. We don't want the eggs to scramble, so in it goes, whisk. There we are. Good old mix. Now this goes back in, so pour this back into the saucepan. That's bits of sugar there that you can see. And now it goes back on a gentle heat, and you're going to really not take your eyes off this. You're going to stir this, whisk this. Again, on a moderate heat. And you keep whisking until what you've got is a very creamy mixture. A lot of the bubbles, you get like a frothy bubble on the top. That will disappear and it will become smoother, less bubbly, and hopefully no lumps. Now, there's like a white foam on the top, which is air that you've whisked in because you're whisking quite a lot, and that will begin to disappear as it gets smoother and a little bit thicker. This is not going to be thick like that yellow custard. This is a creamy, light sauce that's perfect with apple pie, crumble, sticky toffee pudding. That's another story. So keep whisking. And this is why you don't use a non-stick pan, because if you did, you'd probably take the surface off it and have black bits floating around. So it's important that your pan is not a non-stick one. And actually I wouldn't use copper bottomed either, because they get really, really hot and you have less control. So very gently, this is going to start to thicken. Be patient, it could take 4 or 5 minutes, depending on how high you dare have your heat. But don't go too high, because you'll get scrambled eggs. Now when your bubbles have disappeared, which isn't quite yet, you can test whether it's the right consistency by just putting a metal spoon in there, and you're aiming for it to just coat the back of the spoon. That's how thick it should be. My bubbles are going. I'm going to just turn it down a bit because I don't want it to go too quickly. Can you see how the surface is changing? I haven't got that white froth on the top. I think I'm there. I'm going to turn the heat off and get my spoon, and if it's not ready I can always turn it back on again. Can you see how that's coating the back of the spoon? That's done, that's it. The next step is to pour it into a jug and it's ready to serve. Now you can do this ahead of time. Put some cling film over it when it's finished, and if you've got the oven on, sit it over the vent at the back. If not, just leave it and it will cool a bit, but there's nothing wrong with a lovely sauce that's not boiling hot. There, look at that. And that's absolutely how it should be. So we'll pour it in the jug. So there we are, we've got about 3/4 of a pint of a lovely vanilla sauce that's perfect to serve with all sorts of puddings. Have a go and see how you get on with it. I hope you like this one. Bye.